Hello everyone, my name is Adegboyega Akinsiku. I'm a doctoral student at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and I'll present our paper, It's Not Just a Movement, Experiential Information Needed for Stroke Telerehabilitation. In our paper, we share findings from our ethnographically informed field study that aim to investigate what aspects of movement data is essential in co-located stroke rehabilitation sessions with the ultimate goal of informing the design of future telerehabilitation systems. Simply, telerehabilitation leverages technology such as the internet to facilitate the communication of information between a patient and the rehabilitation specialist at a distance. However, the type of information that needs to be communicated is not well defined. The current design paradigm for stroke telerehabilitation systems is predominantly focused on collecting, measuring, quantifying, and conveying patient exercise movement data. Our research was initially guided by this same focus and assumption. As we began to observe face-to-face rehabilitation sessions and interview stroke rehabilitation specialists, we found that the data and information they dedicated effort to extract and understand during rehabilitation sessions were incongruent to our initial focus and assumption, in other words, the current design paradigm. We quickly challenged our assumption as our interviews and observations revealed that although exercise movement data is an important component of stroke rehabilitation, it is not the only information need for specialists. So we set out to study the additional information needs. We found that experiential information is a key need in stroke rehabilitation. We define it as information describing a stroke survivor's lived experience collected through a patient-centered approach and used to inform the rehabilitation care plan. We also found that experiential information has 4 components. The first component is the stroke survivor's motivation, stress, and frustration level. Specialists share that these levels are top priority. 14 out of 16 specialists found information describing a stroke survivor's motivation, stress, and frustration as more important than information describing activity repetition. These 3 are important because they impact the ability for a stroke survivor to make progress on and comply to a care plan. We observed a physiatrist even explain to a stroke survivor that stress can actually make your side effects of stroke feel worse, which takes us to our second component. Specialists evaluate survivors' physical, mental, and emotional health when prescribing a rehabilitation plan, as all impact the ability for stroke survivors to complete the plan safely. The third component, survivors' acclimation after a stroke and their rehabilitation goals. An occupational therapist said, "Validating home exercise is a combination of objective and subjective measures. I actually tell my patients to complete a weekly report for me." These 2 aspects are tightly connected because a survivor's acclimation can inform the progress made towards accomplishing a goal, and validating the 2 are not always as simple as tracking movement. The fourth component, a caregiver's assessment. Many specialists consider the rehabilitation process as a team effort within a stroke survivor's care network, and that network includes a caregiver. We observed a number of stroke survivors come to rehabilitation sessions with their caregiver. A physical therapist said, "A caregiver support is a major predictor in how much someone can recover. Fortunately, they can offer support, encourage them, help them overcome cognitive deficits, monitor their schedule, help with exercise, and cook meals." The caregiver's day-to-day involvement with the stroke survivor produces key insight that often becomes important experiential information. In summary, we found that the information needed by rehabilitation specialists is not solely a detailed log of exercise movement data, but rather experiential information that enables specialists to create a deeper understanding of their patient's lived experience. And for this reason, we posit for a design paradigm reconceptualization for stroke telerehabilitation systems. Simply, we propose including the 4 components of experiential information into the design paradigm. This reconceptualization brings telerehabilitation system design closer to how co-located rehabilitation takes place by integrating components that reflect the patient-centered approach. I conclude by offering design implications for the development of future stroke telerehabilitation systems. First, for telerehabilitation systems to be congruent with existing co-located rehabilitation practices, they need to provide ways to capture various forms of experiential information. Second, solely capturing experiential information is not enough. Systems should allow the information to be annotated to better create a shared meaning among the multiple users of the system. Finally, we believe that telerehabilitation systems have the potential to be the central hub of information for a stroke survivor's care network, so systems should support coordination. Look for our work next year as we're currently applying these design implications to a prototype system, and we'd like to thank you for your time, and we'll also like to extend a special thank you to the patients and the medical personnel that participated in our study.